Hey guys, it's Dan here, and I'm going to do a video for you that I've been asked to do for quite a while, and that is Die R2 HK TFX or Virtue Spire. Which high-end hopper should I choose? I would say right now we are at a spot where we have some really good options. Variety is the spice of life, they say, and I really think that's true here with high-end paintball hoppers. And so I'm going to try to answer the question, which one should you buy? Now, this is based on the preferences that you like. So I'm going to run through each, the plus and minuses of each hopper and compare the weights real quickly. And then you can make the decision, oh yeah, that one really stood out for you. I'll also let you know my personal preference, but that's very little because your preferences are probably different. So let's jump in there and take a look. All three of these have they now have batteries. The Spire has been out for about 2 years or so. The TFX and the R2 came out towards the beginning of last year, I believe it was. So about a year now. And we're going to just give them through the run. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to weigh them for you. I grabbed a Spire 260. It's a little more in paint. But because the die rotor shell can open and close, I just figured it was kind of a good comparison. But here we go. Let's check this out. So we got the Virtue Spire with batteries. It's a 260. Let me get this off the crease. 1 pound, 3.6 ounces. The TFX. 1 pound, 2.1 ounces. So that's about 1.5 ounces lighter. And then the R2, 1 pound, 4.7 ounces. So the R2 is about 1 ounce heavier than the 260 Spire, and the Spire is about 1.5 ounces heavier than the TFX. TFX comes in as the lightest hopper of the three. The 200 is a little bit lighter, but the TFX is very light. I'm going to start first with the Virtue Spire. The Virtue Spire shell, the pluses are it is very light. It is a very low profile, and here at the 260, it actually holds the most paint for its profile size. It has a good field of view down the sides of it, which is real nice. The simplicity is great. The lid comes right up above. It's got this fancy lock system. You just put it down and press it in, and you can pull the lid off. To take it apart, inside the tray there's this little tab. Just pull it up and out comes your engine. This is not a force-fed hopper, so it doesn't push the paint, it feeds it as there's an opening. So it is a G-Shock sensor system, so as you tap it and it senses the vibration of the gun, then it starts feeding. The good thing is it is very soft on paint. With this system, it's not going to jam on you. They say it never jams. And, let's try that with the lid on. And with the system, the paddles, it just kind of lightly pushes the paint in. That becomes really reliable when you're playing with it. Real simple to use. Bring a case of paint. Real simple to use. When you press it, it always keeps going for a few seconds to see if it needs to go. When you put some pressure on it, it stops. So when the balls are all in the feed stack, then it stops. But as you push on it, then it feeds. Like I said, the pluses to this style system is it is going to jam less than pretty much any hopper out there. Very reliable. You're not going to have those problems. Also very gentle on fragile paint and odd-shaped paint. The downside here is it will not feed as fast as some of these other hoppers, the force-fed systems. And some people complain that they feel it doesn't start up and go as fast because it's not paint under tension shoving down, it's pushing them down slowly. I haven't had any of that problems really with this Spire. I will say one of the drawbacks that I have, it does have a spring ramp, which you want to stick in the nose cone for $10, which pushes it back, which is nice. But sometimes when I get low on paint, and let's say I'm at the 50 shooting, it gets to the side, and even though there's paint in there, if I'm holding my gun at an angle, it doesn't feed. While a force-fed hopper may not have quite the same problem there. Again, it is one of the lightest, and as you see with comparison to this 260 Spire, it is actually, or this 260 rotor, it is actually a lower profile than the rotor with its 260 capacity. And it's just a little bit higher than the 200 or 220 round, 212 round, I think it is, HK Army TFX. So the profile's real nice. It's real light. It's real reliable. You don't have jamming issues with it. It is a real nice hopper. Some people have had some complaints with guns getting smoother and smoother these days, that the Spires don't sense the shock of it. And usually by fixing that, you just simply up the sensitivity setting on the Spire and you don't have a problem. The last drawback I would say is people have had problems with this back plate breaking from time to time. Virtue has come out with a release a while ago with a new style back plate. All their new colors have them, the graphic prints. But that back plate would break, but Virtue replaces those for free pretty much all the time, so you're not really going to have much of a problem, and it's just a fantastic warranty with Virtue. So fantastic product, $209.95 for that one. We'll look at the TFX. The TFX is real nice. It has this lid, which can be easily interchanged. I'll show you that for a speed feed. It locks, then you push this up. It comes in half. It's a quick release lid button. You press that in and the lid just pops out and you can change it. You have in here, you have this this ramp. This gives about an extra 12 balls, like I said. Their system says it will pretty much never jam. I have seen a few times of light jamming with real bad paint that was misformed or real soft. But for the most part, you don't have much of those problems. And that's because, as you see, when I'm pressing it here, this top part actually just stops and lifts up and moves around. So stopping it from causing force on the balls there. This one runs off of 2 AA's instead of 3. But it also has a I believe it's a transducer in it. Might be using the wrong word. Let me see if I can get this thing out. So this one lifts from the front, which allows it to just keep going if the batteries are dying. You can get as many shots as possible. You can adjust the tension here on it. Real simple and easy to take care of. Like I said, this will rarely jam on you guys. They say never. I think I've seen some with horrible conditions, but you know, never without absolutely ridiculous conditions. And you get 2 paintballs stuck together, and that's going to jam in pretty much anything. You know, what can you do about it? So this is force fed. If you see, it actually is pushing the paint down and has it under spring tension in the stack. So this is going to get up on go real fast. For those of you who like to play semi, this is a real useful feature, having a force-fed one. You're going to shoot the fastest, especially in bursts and speeds like that. You have this button that you can tell it to cycle, but it always spins unless there's the pressure of the ball stopping it. One of the drawbacks I have seen personally is it doesn't really have a system to feed the paint back. So if you're a player shooting down at a snake player, a cutoff position and tall, and you're going down, the last bit of balls can get stuck in the front of it and don't feed back as well. That can be a little annoying and an issue. Snake players, you're never going to really have that problem. You're shooting up or flat. I just know that kind of annoyance, but there is some real good features along with it being the lightest hopper in the situation, and it holds a good amount. Just a fantastic hopper. And then you got your last option. This one's really useful. The Spire, you can buy shells and swap them out. The Die R2 is built on the Rotor platform. The Rotor for the last 7-8 years has been the best hopper in paintball, hands down, and just controlled the market. And this is the next generation of it. You have that you can change the shell to 260 rounds if you want, just by pulling it up. So you get kind of 2 hopper sizes in one. You just slide it to the track. It says slide it to the left, and you can pull it up and close it, or you slide it to the right and it comes off. The lid is now a quick change system. You just press this little button in, and it always takes me a little bit longer to align the pins when putting it back, but there you go, not too bad. One of the things that you have here is it is a little bit seems a little bit wider. I would say that the R2 is a little more complex than the R1, but it has a lot of good features. So one, the quick easy lid is a feature that the R2 wanted. The hopper is a lot lighter than the R1, even though it holds more and it's bigger. This is one of my favorite things on the Rotor is the paddle system on it feeds for the last ball. I mean, you pour paint in here and it all gets fed right in there. Now, as you can see here, this is real soft paint from tournaments ago. It can jam at times. I have the tension up high on this, which can do that. But they did put a little fin in there to jam it. But when you're using real soft or really old paint or real bad paint, you will get some jams with the R2 still. They did reduce that a lot from the R1 with the R2, but it does happen from time to time. They do have the anti-jam fin at the bottom, so if you see when I pull it, it moves it out, and then you're good to go. It also has a beeper which counts on the paint and how many balls that you've used. It's a little more complex to take apart. You have to move these 2 tabs down, and then you can stick your thumb against the back of the shell and then your 2 fingers here, and you kind of pull. And the one thing that I say with the R2 is you just can't be too gentle with it. It takes a little more muscle. Those that get broken in or used more, it becomes a lot easier, but that can be kind of a pain. They changed the drive system to add this little spring area, this little fin, and that's what helps reduce most of the jamming from stopping in this. So that's nice. The Rotor still holds. It still takes the cake for the fastest speeding hopper. I mean, that drive system is just fantastic, and it's ruled the paint world or industry for a long time. Sticking this front in, you need to stick it under this front clip. Then you kind of need to force them back into these grooves. Then you can pull these tabs forward, and it locks into place. It may be difficult, like I said, at first, but then over time it gets less difficult. This works when there's paint pressure. I'm using my finger in the bottom here to stop it. When you put pressure on that blue fin, it stops it from spinning, but you can't stop it on that top fin. So it'll keep pushing the paint, and it won't stop from the paint pressure on the top, but the bottom part it will. Just really, really fast. I want to show you all 3 there. So you just kind of throw it together. I want to show you how fast they do feed. So the R2, I would say the advantage of the R2 is it is the fastest feeding. It's real strong. Check this out. Like, that thing scoots, and so just to be able to feed a lot of paint, the battery life is great. The R1 proved to be pretty much indestructible. There's a video of the designer, Billy Wing, like took a blowtorch to it, threw it in a bucket of water. I actually took an R2 and threw it in a bucket of water too. I didn't have a blowtorch around to try it, but I threw it in the water and used it, so just a really powerful. I'm gonna show you feeding of the TFX as well. And you see there was actually a couple, if you see there was a couple balls in the nose cone, I had to point it back right there to flat to get them out. So that's kind of a drawback with that. It's real nice that the R2 is the only one that comes with two hoppers, or I mean two hopper sizes almost. That's really cool as well. And then you get the Spire. And the Spire is going to be your slowest feeding one. It's not force fed. So if you watch, it's by the shock. So it pushes through the last few balls. When shooting on a gun, it keeps up at 15 balls a second with the shock of the gun and vibration. But you can see how these ones just really scoot and push the balls, a force-fed loader versus a loader that doesn't, although this one will never jam. So I think you kind of got, for lack of better terms, this one's kind of the slowest, but maybe the most simplistic or reliable. You have a really good option in both of them, which is reliable. Jams very seldomly, but it is real nice. It's force-fed. And then you also got the fastest and one of the strongest, most battery-efficient ones there, and it does a great job feeding all the paint in. So really, they're three fantastic hoppers. Tournament players love them all. You're going to have your preferences on what you want. So go ahead and check these out. They're all available for sale at Yourpbfriend.com. Like and subscribe to our channel. Please comment and let me know your choice of loader and why. I'd love to see what all you guys think. And thanks for watching, guys.